Why we can't have nice things? Why? Why? Why we can't have nice things? What's up, YouTube, man? I'm gonna let some of y'all get up in here real quick. Man, why we can't have nice things? Why we can't have nice things? Why we can't have nice things? Make sure you hit that like button when y'all come up in here. What's up, YouTube? Texans fall to now 3-5 on the season, and more than likely, um, you can make a you can make a legitimate case that the season is over. I mean, you still got next week. The one thing is they cannot afford to lose any more games. Uh, at least like the earliest they can lose a game is that KC game the first weekend of December. They have to win out the rest of November. They have to win out the rest of November. They have to beat Jacksonville and Tennessee and Buffalo and Indy before that Chiefs game. That's at minimum. If they lose any game before that KC game, because I'm like if they lose any game before that KC game, you can pretty much write the season over. Um, I don't even know what happened with Indy in Pittsburgh earlier. Um, but like I mean, like it's almost a wrap, and that's the reason why again I keep on saying this after every single loss. I said it after the Seattle loss, and I'm saying it right here after this loss here. That's the reason why people overreacted because I heard that a lot that people overreacted. Are we overreacting over the 0-3 start? Like, no, it's not an overreaction after the 0-3 start. It's just that when you start off the season with losing your first three games out the gate, you can't afford to stub your toe anymore this season because anytime else you go out there and play a game and lose it, you've got rid of all the goodwill because you started off 0-3. You started off in the 0-3 hole. This team has yet to be at 500 at any point this season outside of the start of the season off 0-0. So no, you didn't. No one overreacted over the 0-3 start. Oh, man, if we start 0-3, might as well just pack it up then. You damn near might as well. Because what you've done when you start off 0-3, you have forfeited all your good effort. It's hard for you to do anything else. Again, we're in the first weekend in November. We have yet to be 500 at any point of this season. That's because you started off 0-3. Like, come on. Because anything can happen. CJ can leave a game with a concussion. A game that I have no doubt about if CJ plays this entire game, the Texans beat the Denver Broncos. Not only do I think the Texans beat the Denver Broncos, I think the Texans beat Denver probably by 2 scores. I think they win by double digits. I think they win by at least 10 points if CJ plays the entire game because the offense was able to move the football against that defense. Them not having Patrick Surtain meant a lot because the Texans were able to move the football. Really, even with Davis Mills, they were pretty much able to move the football. They just couldn't punch it in. They just couldn't get a score. But you don't know what's going to happen the rest of the remaining games, good or bad. So that's why starting off 0-3 is an absolute problem. That's why it is. That's why it is, man. That's why it is. That's why it is. So the Houston Texans fall to the Denver Broncos 18-15. Like I say, CJ left the game with a concussion. CJ on the day before he left was 6-10 for 60% for 79 yards. Davis Mills comes into the game. He's 17 of 30 for 56.7 completion percentage and had 137 yards. Nick Chubb carried the ball 11 times, had 34 rushes, had 34 yards, averaging only 3.1 yard temp. His longest run today was 8 yards. Woody Marks carried the ball 10 times for 27 yards. And we all do simple math. His average was 2.7 yards a carry. His long was 7 of the day. Dalton Schultz was targeted 8 times, had 6 catches for 77 yards. Nico Collins had 11 targets for 7 catches for 75 yards. Xavier Hudson was targeted 5 times, had 3 catches for 30 yards. Kurt made his return back as well. He was targeted 8 times, had 4 catches for 26 yards. Higgins was targeted 1 time for 1 catch for 4 yards. We didn't see any Jalen Noel out there outside of the return game. He actually played pretty well in the return game. Kamari Lassiter, I think Kamari Lassiter played a great game. Kamari Lassiter had 2 pass breakups. Kalen Bullock had an interception when he came from across the field. I don't know what. It was kind of some Kyle Hamilton type stuff. He came from across the field. I don't know where Kalen Bullock came from. It was a nice play. Kalen Bullock got an interception. Sting almost had an interception. Sting dropped one. I feel like he almost had that. Probably could have changed. It probably could have sealed the game for the Texans. Will Anderson was able to get to the quarterback once, but that was it. 1 sack. And on the Denver side of the football, Bo Nix, 18-37 for 48.6 completion percentage, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, which were very crucial in the 1 interception. Should have been 2 interceptions. J.K. Dobbins carried the ball 15 times for 61 yards and had average 4.1 yard carry. Bo Nix carried the ball 3 times for 35 yards and had a crucial 25-yarder that basically ended the game. Like they basically ended the game because it guaranteed them the field goal range. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. Harvey was targeted 5 times, had 5 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton was targeted 6 times, only had 1 catch, but that 1 catch was on Darius Stingley. It was a 30-yard catch for a touchdown. Troy Franklin was targeted 10 times, had 4 catches for 27 yards. Again, I said this the other day that it was going to be a defensive game, and it was. It was even more of a defensive game that I thought all Texan points came off of field goals. Kaimi was 5 or 6 in field goals. He missed one, but made 5 others. And if Kaimi made the field goal, we win. Actually, we still lose by 3 points. So instead of it being 18-15 loss, it's a 15-22 loss. I mean, a 15-21 loss. My bad, because they missed the extra not the extra point. We blocked one of their field goals, so we would lost the game 21-18. If that's what we would have lost the game 21-18 if we didn't block their field goal. So we still would have lost by 3. The defense had an 8-point game going into the fourth quarter, and you allow a big play by Harvey to be able to get in the end zone, and then on their drive to get on the game-winning drive for them to set up to get the game-winning field goal, Bo Nix again kind of on some Baker Mayfield type stuff in that Monday Night Football game. The back door just completely open. It wasn't like it was 4th down and they had him. The back door was completely open. He just cut to that back door side and hit it backside. Boom, 25 yard first down, got him in field goal range, and it was pretty much a wrap after that. Not to mention also Cortland Sutton basically just beating Darius Stingley, putting a move on Darius Stingley, got past him, 30-yard reception for a touchdown. And I said this. I know for a fact I said it in the Discord. Shout out to everybody in the Discord. Yeah, I'm part of Discord. You know what it is. I know I said for a fact in the Discord. I can't remember if I said it during the preview game. If I did, my apologies. I said that one of Stingley's roughest games before the JSN game a couple weeks ago on Monday night, which I think that was his roughest game. In my opinion, I think that was his roughest game. Him against JSN, because it seemed like they first they were going man on him, and then they ended up taking them off of man, and we're gonna do something else. One of Stingley's roughest games was against Cortland Sutton his rookie year. Now, granted, it was his rookie, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was the second game of the season, but it was a game where on that opening drive, the referee set the tone very early that Stingley couldn't put his hands on Cortland Sutton. He couldn't put his hands on him because he got he got a pass interference call and a holding call on the same drive. Now, granted, later on that drive, because all these calls, he was able to move down the field. They got into the end zone. He stopped them from getting a touchdown. I took it as more so it was a good battle because Stingley actually got some more, got a couple pass breakups in that game. But also, Stingley also got some more calls as far as some flags again. And that's what I mean by rough. It wasn't like JSN was just beating Stingley all up and down the field in those first couple drives against Seattle. That game with Sutton, it was more so that they was taking Stingley out of the game because they were setting the tone early for what Stingley is able and not able to do as far as putting his hands on Cortland Sutton. Now, a couple years ago, about 2 years ago, when the last time they played, when Denver came into NRG, Stingley had 2 picks. I know one of them was on Cortland Sutton. I think the other one was on the other receiver because they wasn't playing the man on man. Now, because in that Denver game, like the one in Denver, the one with the calls when that was Lovey was coaching. Lovey actually had Stingley playing man on man on Cortland Sutton. He had him playing man on man on Cortland. D'Amico in 2023 did not have Stingley playing that game where Russell Westbrook threw 2 interceptions. I think he threw 3 interceptions. Westbrook threw 3 interceptions, but Stingley caught 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions, that game that he caught those 2 interceptions, Stingley was not playing man on man on Cortland. He wasn't playing, hey, you follow Cortland throughout the game. It wasn't that. That's what I mean. Like, he wasn't following Cortland throughout the game. Stingley was following Cortland the game in Denver in 2022, the game with the pass interference calls. He wasn't following him in 2023 in Houston. So I said they've set that tone, and again, I'm pretty sure in the back of Stingley's mind when he's up against Cortland, like, hey, if I play Cortland this type of way because he's a bigger receiver, they might call a flag on me because he was a little bit off because he didn't get his hands on Cortland, and Cortland was able to move and get right past him. So again, do I think Cortland is a better receiver than Stingley is a corner? No. And again, shout out to Cortland from Brenham, Texas. Hey, shout out to everybody in Brenham. You already know what it is. My hometown. Shout out Cortland. But Cortland, I don't think Cortland is nowhere near the top 10 receiver mark. Stingley, at the very least, is a top 5 corner in the NFL, if not 1 or 2. Now, granted, I ain't gonna lie, this season, I do think he's taken a couple hits at that number 1 status. I was calling him the number 1 corner that come into the season. And this season, I have not seen, even the good things I've seen out of Stingley, I haven't seen number 1 cornerback status this season. As good as the defense has played, shout out to the defense, as great as the defense has been playing all season, and the things I have seen out of Stingley. But yeah, Stingley is not playing the way he was playing last year. He was playing better last year than he's been playing for the first how many games we've been playing this season? 7 games now? 8 games. I'm sorry, 8 games. Have we been playing for the past 8 games of the season? I'm just sorry. It is what it is. Call a spade a spade. But in saying all that, I'm not surprised that Cortland was able to get a touchdown. I'm not surprised that Cortland make a play. And again, Cortland was targeted 6 times, only had 1 catch. So for the most part of the game, the Texans was shutting them down for the most part. They only allowed them the 1 catch. But the 1 catch was a 30-yard touchdown. It was just a catch. It was just a 30-yard catch. It was a big play. Well, I'll tell you about the Texans defense and allowing big plays. It was a touchdown. 3 crucial plays. There were big plays. That 30-yard touchdown, Harvey's touchdown, and then the one that I think was the backbreaker was the 25-yard scramble by Bo Nix that ended the game. Those is what I'm talking about this defense allowing big plays at junctures of the game. It's crucial points of the game. This had the makings and the markings of my opinion being D'Amico Ryan's best coaching performance because you lose CJ in the game. I know people want to talk about other games he's done. I still think that to this day, D'Amico Ryan's best coaching performance is at Tennessee. I don't care that Tennessee wasn't a good football team. At Tennessee, without CJ Stroud, when you're in the makings of in a playoff battle. You're trying to get to the playoffs. To me, that's his finest hour as a coach because hey, I'm leaning on my defense. I'm going to lean on my run game. I got a backup quarterback. I'm going to be able to do that, and we're going to go out there on the road and win this game. That's great coaching. Forget the blowouts that we done blown somebody out. Forget all that. That is great coaching. And this had the makings of it because the way the defense throughout the entirety of the game, the Texas defense actually, in my opinion, looked the part. Unlike Denver's defense, because the Texans offense was able to move the football pretty much on the Denver Broncos defense for almost the entirety of the game. Even when Davis Mills was out there, they were able to move the football pretty much up and down the field on this Denver Bronco defense. I understand they were missing pass retain, but again, as the game went on, we were missing CJ. We were missing Tyus Howard. We're missing our guard. We were missing players too. Willie Morris came out the game for a little minute. So we were missing people as well on the offensive side of football. It wasn't like we were missing people on the defense side of football. No, we was missing. We were missing our we were missing our best offensive lineman in Tyus Howard, and we were missing our quarterback. CJ Stroud. Y'all missing y'all best defensive player in pass time. Cool. Call it spade a spade. And also about that hit, that wasn't no penalty, dog. Like, because I know that what everybody was saying last year with Aziz, when the quarterback slide, which is the truth, when the quarterback slide, the play is over because the ball stops where the quarterback starts to slide, not where he ends up at. So when he starts to slide, the play's up. So he's not supposed to be getting hit at all. You're not supposed. So yeah, I understand what Aziz actually did hit Trevor Lawrence in the head. You have set a precedent when you do stuff like that. So he was hit, he was touched, and y'all pulled the flag. Y'all threw the flag out there. It wasn't like y'all didn't throw the flag at the beginning. Y'all put the flag out there. It should have been a 15-yard penalty. Matt first down, the Texans to punt on their drive. It's the Texans to punt on their drive. Oh, I seen some earlier. Hey, shout out Heartbreak Kid for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Offense is you got rash. I'm pretty sure trash. Or maybe you saying they like a rash. They make it itch like a rash. You could be saying that. Hey, shout out Heartbreak Kid. We're gonna talk about exactly this offense because again, that don't be fooled about these little sprinkle of performances against Baltimore, against the 49ers, against Tennessee. This offense is still the problem. This offense is still the problem. This offense is still the problem. Shout out Heartbreak Kid for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Don't let these other games fool y'all. That's why I was saying after the Ravens game. Don't because after the Ravens game, everybody all hype, and then the Seattle game on Monday night happened. Everybody looking the way they looking. Same thing last week. People were looking about that man yeah. This team has showed y'all offensively who they are. They've already showed y'all that. So believe them. Stop trying to give them passes just because we put on the deep steel blue and the Liberty white in the back. Man, hey, they've showed you who they are. Believe them. Believe them. Believe them. Believe them. Shout out Chris. I knew Chris gonna pull up. Shout out Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Why would you keep doing that? There you go. Shout out Chris for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Indy might lost, but guess what? Greater Texans lost. Then he laughs. They reached the playoffs and getting getting shorter and shorter. Them reaching the playoffs is getting shorter and shorter. It seems like the Texans are actually getting sweated. Yeah. He's not lying about the Texans playoff odds is getting shorter and shorter. He's not. He's not. Yeah, I mean he's not. He's not. I mean, yeah, like I don't think like you said you said the Texans palms are getting sweaty. Like I don't think the Texans palms are getting sweaty. But I guess that's a play on for what that's a play on what I said about Indy. And Indy lost. Indy did lose. And again, it helps out Indy that the Texans lost. And also the bigger loss, the bigger loss is how long CJ gonna be out. Is CJ going because again we've seen that people don't come back the next week in the concussion protocol. It's very rare for them to come back. Actually, they be missing. I was actually surprised that Nico played today because they be missing multiple games. CJ missed multiple games, and also we gotta start thinking about that. 3 years in the NFL, he's had concussion twice. Three years in the NFL. He's had concussion twice. These are things you got to think about. These are things you do have to think about. These are things you have to be a realist and you have to be able to think about. But shout out Chris for super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. But these are things that you definitely got to think about though. And shout out Duke for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Season is probably over, but we need to trade for a running back. I agree. Hey, the poll is still out there. And the trade deadline is what, Tuesday? The poll's still out there. I put a video talking about Brees Hall a couple weeks ago. And like, I'm sorry. I don't like what we're doing with the running back position. I don't like. I mean, I know people that Chubb for the season is averaging 4 yards to carry for the season. Man, don't buy into that. Like I don't know how I don't get it. I don't be understanding. I don't understand. Like I understand we fans. I understand people are Texas fans. I understand that hey, everything want to be sunshines. Everything you want to go out there and believe that you're the best team, you're the best player. All these, I get having confidence. I understand all that, but I feel like sometimes you got to realize some things. Like bro, when you watch him play, when you watch Nick Chubb run the football. It is nothing impressive about him running the football. This is not Nick Chubb of 2020. This is not Nick Chubb of 2021. This is not Nick Chubb of it's not. It's not Nick Chubb of 2022. It is not. He's not that type of running back. He's not the same. He don't have the same juice. I think he's getting stronger just because he had a 20-yard scamper. Yeah, because the hole broke up and he's able to scamper through. You know what? Last year, DP had a 50-yard touchdown and had a 90-yard touchdown. Do we trust the DP is a 1,000-yard running back because he has some big plays? Whoop-de-doo, 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 whoop-de-doo. Like. That's the reason why he's average. That's the reason why his total average has been exploded because he had that 27-yard run and he had that 23-yard run against Tampa. But both of, especially that Tampa was a give up. The Tampa, not a give up, right? The Tampa run was them allowing him to score so they can get the football back. They pulled up and let him score so they get the football back. The one against the Ravens, I'll give it to you that I think the hole just broke up against a bad defense and he was able to get a run. Every other run that you've seen him run throughout this entire season has not been a good run. Even if it was a good run, it still wasn't a good run. So don't buy it. Oh, he's still averaging 4 yards a carry. He's averaging 4 yards. I had that argument so many times within the last month. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. I don't think we should trade for no running back. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. No, stop it. He's not. Yes, technically he's averaging 4 yards a carry. Yes, technically he's averaging 4 yards a carry. Is he really? But when you watch him run the football, does it look like he can average 4 yards a carry every single time he runs the football? No. He looks pathetic when he's running the football. Stop it. Now take off them Texan fan glasses and actually pay attention to what you're watching. Like, come on. That's so irritating and frustrating. Shout out Duke for the super chat love. But yes, the Texans need a running back. A multitude of things they need on the offense side of the football, but a running back is definitely one of it. Stop playing patty cake and go out there either trade for Brees Hall or get Jeremiah Love in the draft next year. But if you do that, you're basically already forfeiting on season. But if you still try to make something shake in 2025, go out there and get Brees Hall. And if you don't go out there and get Brees Hall, to me, what you should be doing, you should be committing to, okay, we're going to go out there. We're going to go out there and we're going to try to get Jeremiah Love because we got all this draft capital that we're not trading. We're going to go out there and get Jeremiah Love in the draft. That's what you're telling me when you're doing stuff like that. Shout out Clutch City for the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Where do we go from here? Shout out Clutch City for super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. He says, where do we go from here? I mean, what you 3-5? I mean, if you beat Jacksonville and Tennessee, you'll walk into that Thursday night game against Buffalo 5-5. Like I said earlier, you have like the Texans. If the Texans realistically want to make the playoffs, they cannot lose another game. into KC. First week in December. They have to win out. So as they said, they need to beat Jacksonville, to beat Jacksonville, beat Tennessee, beat Buffalo, and have to beat Indy. One, you have, because the thing is, you have to beat, like, even if you would beat the Broncos today, you still would have had to beat Tennessee, Jacksonville, and Indy. You had to win those 3 division games. You had some wiggle room in the Buffalo game. That if you drop that Buffalo game, obviously you're upset that you dropped the Buffalo game, but you still have some wiggle room if you would have dropped that. If you dropped that Buffalo game, if you would have won today against Denver, losing today again, I said it on Friday that because that's a tiebreaker that you potentially might need as far as the playoffs. Even if you take the division out of it, just in wild cardness, that's a tiebreaker that you need. Because Denver might win the division, KC might win the division. The Chargers, I don't even know what the Chargers do with Tennessee today. I picked Tennessee to win, but I don't know. Last time I checked, they were tied. Anybody can win the division, so Denver could be a wild. Denver could be a play. I think Denver's going to be in the playoffs. Denver could be a division leader, or it could be a wild card. If they're a wild card and you're a wild card, if they're a wild card and you're a wild card, you need that head-to-head matchup. So today's game was very important. But obviously these division games, again, also because you beat Jacksonville, only thing that does with you and Jacksonville is that makes y'all even. That makes y'all even. Y'all have the same record. So y'all have the same record, and y'all both split against each other. So therefore, the next record of tiebreaker would be the divisional record. That's why you have to beat Tennessee. You have to sweep Tennessee. You have to go out there. One, you got to beat Indy because you got to bring Indy back down to your level. You got to give Indy more losses. And also, you need that same tiebreaker. Speaking of needing things, I need more people to hit that like button. More people to jump up in this chat, but the likes ain't going up. Make sure you hit that like button. Hey, shout out my boy Honcho. I see you up in here. Yeah, man. Shout out my boy Honcho. I see you up here. Shout out to everybody up there in South Sports, the whole round table, man. Hey, shout your boys out, man. What's up, Trill? I see Trill up in here too. What's the deal? What is the deal? So shout out my boy Honcho. Shout out my boy Trill. But thank you, Clutch C for super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. But that's like that's pretty much where we go from here. Like that's pretty much what we have to be able to do. That's exactly what we have to be able to do. We got to go out there and now we got to take care of our business. And again, it's going to be an uphill battle. We need to find out what's going on with CJ. Because that's the bigger than the loss. The biggest story is what is Cole Rishad doing? What is Cole Rishad? Is he going to be available? Is he going to be available the rest? Is he going to be available next week against Jacksonville? Is he going to be available against Tennessee? Because if he misses next week, how many games does he miss? Does he miss 1 game? Does he miss 2 games? Like, I've been saying that because next week is the most important game of the entire schedule. Next week is the most important game in the entirety of the schedule. Because they've already beaten you, so you have to win that game. You lose against Jacksonville, the season's over. It's a wrap. If Houston wins next week, if Houston loses next week, because Houston wins everything, again, you still got some work. You can still get the fight. You can beat Jacksonville and beat Jacksonville and beat Tennessee and be 500. If you lose to Jacksonville next week, pack it up. Load the mock drafts. Season's over. Like square business. November 9th. If the Texans lose to Jacksonville, November 9th, the season's over. Season's over. Because the only other hope is for them to win out. Because if they win out, they still could be 11-6. Like they would have to win out. But the chances of them winning out with the chances of you winning out when you have Indy twice on your schedule, the Chargers on your schedule, the Chiefs on your schedule, and the Bills on your schedule is extremely unlikely to win out. I'm not saying I'm not even gonna say that in those the Indy, Bills, Chiefs, Chargers in those 5 games, that you don't have a winning record in those 5 games, that you win 3 and lose 2. But that means that gives you 8 losses. If you lose against Jacksonville, and then you in those 5 games that I just named, Indy twice, Buffalo, the Chargers, and the Chiefs, and you lose 2 of those games and win 3, you could beat both. You can beat both. You can sweep the Colts and beat KC. You lose to Buffalo and the Chargers, and you already got 6 losses. That give you 8 losses. That's a wrap. You're not making the playoffs with a 9-8 record because you lost games like this. You lost to Denver, and also you've been swept by Jacksonville, which means Jacksonville has the tiebreaker over you if they have 9 wins. See how that works? See how that works? And that also means that you would have lost to one of the Chargers, the Bills, or the Chiefs as well in that scenario. And you know what that means? You've already lost to the Broncos. If you lose to both the Chargers and that means you would have lost a potential tiebreaker. You already lost tiebreaker to Denver. You can also potentially lose a tiebreaker to both the Chiefs and the Chargers, or lose a tiebreaker to the Bills, because it's not for certain that the Bills will win their division because they've already lost to the Patriots. It's not for certain that the Chiefs going to win their division. It's not certain that out of the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, one of those teams going to win the division. The other two going to be a wild card. Who's to say that you might beat the team to win the division, but you've lost to 2 teams in the wild card? Boom, that's a tiebreaker loss. Boom, you lost tiebreaker to Buffalo. Boom, you lost a tiebreaker to Jacksonville. So there's a lot of tiebreakers that you've forfeited in this exercise that I'm doing. You've forfeited a lot of tiebreakers. So therefore, your chances of making the playoffs are slim to none. That's why you have to win these games. So I said next week is the most important game of the NFL season for the Houston Texans. Because if they lose this game, the season is pretty much over. Pretty much over because of who you have left to go. Yes, I know mathematically it's not, because yes, mathematically they can win out and be 11-6. Mathematically, I understand that, but the chances of that are slim to none, and more than likely that will not happen, and they will lose a game to either the Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers, or Indianapolis twice. They will lose at least 2 of those 5 games. More than likely, that will tell you that. And if that's the case, you already have 6 losses. That gives you 8 losses. You're not making the playoffs. You're not making the playoffs 9-8. You have to be 10 or better, 10-7 or better to make the playoffs. I'm not even just talking about the division. I'm just talking about making it as a wild card, which some of the Texans have never done. The Houston Texans have never made the playoffs as a wild card. We've only made the playoffs as an AFC South champion. Never made it as a wild card. And to be honest, I don't foresee that happening this year either. Because if Davis Mills is the quarterback next week, there's a great chance the Texans lose this game. Not a good chance. A great chance the Texans lose against Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville beat them with CJ Stroud. Like, because somebody talking about how trash this offense is. Yes, this offense can't move the football. Like, why is Jalen Noel after the last 2 performances that Jalen Noel has had, Monday night at Seattle, and then last week when everybody was gone, what Jalen Noel has done on the offensive side of football? Because to be honest, Jalen Noel, the last 2 weeks, has been the most impressive receiver the Texans had. I know he didn't score a touchdown last week. I know Higgins and Hutch scored a touchdown. But Jalen Noel has been the most, in my opinion, the most impressive receiver for the last 2 weeks. And because Kirk is back, We just put Noel on the back burner. Noel doesn't even get on the field as a receiver. Oh, but we finally use him back as a returner because we put Barrios back there as a returner against Seattle for some strange, odd reason. When Noel has been playing the return game well all season long, because that's all you was letting them do. And now we're back to damn square one. We're completely back to square one. We're not using Jalen Noel, who's probably the Texans' most explosive receiver right now, and we're not using him. We're not using him at all. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't understand. Nick Caley takes two. That's why you can't trust these damn performances against Baltimore and against the 49ers again. That's why you can't trust these damn performances, because Caley takes one step forward and 10 steps back. He takes more steps back than CJ do when he gets sacked. Like, after he calls a good game or a decent game, or the offense shows some type of explosiveness, the offense shows some type of life, the offense shows that they're able to do some things, he takes 5 steps back. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is dumb. This is watching this offense. I don't care that Davis Mills was the quarterback today. Watching this offense is stupid. This offense is dumb. It's a dumbass offense. The personnel, the play call. What are you doing? It don't make no sense. Why is Dory keep out there? The only time that I understood why Dory was out there is when Woody Marks got took out the game for a little minute. But Woody Marks went back in the game, and they still had Dory ass out there. Why? Why is Dory going all the way out there? Why? Dory's only supposed to be on special teams. After week 2, Dory should no longer been on the offensive side of the football. We only use Dory on special teams unless an injury happens. I understand that. Also, we're in the red zone. Why do we keep on handing the ball to Bridges Brooks? I get the first one. The first one made sense. Cause you use Nick Chubb, you didn't get it. Then you put Woody back there, so you give him, okay, Woody's out there. It gives a look of, okay, maybe they're about to throw the football, and then you go ahead and you hand it to Bridge Brooks. You try to let him run in. I had no problem with that. That actually makes sense. That was probably, to be honest, that might have been the smartest thing that Nick Caley did all day offensively. That's the smartest thing he did offensively. Was after he tried to run it with Chubb in the red zone, and in the first red zone tip, he tried to run with Chubb. It didn't work. You put in Woody Marks back there, and then you hand it off to Bridge Brooks, and you hand it off to Bridge Brooks. You do a little fake out. That was like the smartest thing that they did. That's the smartest thing that Nick Caley did the entire day. Because that was a good one. That was good, but it didn't work. Okay, cool. It didn't work. Okay, cool. It was smart, but it didn't work. All right, cool. The next play, give it to your quarterback and let him make a decision to get this football in the end zone. You got Nico Collins back. We've shown you. You have 3 6'4" receivers, and Nico Collins, Xavier Hudson, and Jalen Higgins. You have 3 6-foot receivers. 3 6'4" receivers. 3 of them. Not 1, not 2, 3. 3 receivers. They're 6'4". And you have a tight end. Man, throw that football up in the air and let the boys come down with it. Because one thing, I think that's the one thing that Higgins can actually do. Because as the season has progressed, more and more, week by week, I'll be looking at Higgins like, we really move back in the first, and then we really move back for this. Like, we couldn't stay in the first round and drafted anybody else. Like, that's how I be looking at Higgins. Like, I ain't gonna lie, because Higgins' 2 touchdowns that he got, I mean, cool. They I ain't gonna lie, they like the equivalent of, I'm trying to think of just a random receiver who's had just over the years, for not even just the Texans, just Vincent Smith. Like Vincent Smith you go back to the Deshaun year, like Vincent Smith had a couple touchdowns in the season, like that, like that's how like Lestar Jean, like that, like that's how I look at like Higgins touchdowns. Like his touchdowns to me are not like impressive touchdowns. They just like okay, I mean, like somebody called them. Like I mean, you go through a quarterback's like touchdowns, not all his touchdowns gonna go to superstar receivers. It's like some receivers can catch some touchdowns just because the offense, the attention. So I mean, I look at it. That's how I look at Higgins touchdowns. They're not really impressive to me. I just look at Higgins touchdowns like that. Like I mean, like Noah Brown's touchdowns with CJ's rookie year. Like that's how I look. Or Xavier Woods. I mean not Xavier Woods. Is it Xavier Woods? Yeah, Xavier Woods. Um is it Xavier Woods, the receiver we had that came from Buffalo? His name is Xavier. I can't remember. Anyway, that's besides the point. That's how I look at Higgins touchdowns. But in this junction, this is where I think you could use Higgs' frame and let him go out there and rebound the football. Now, granted, the last time you tried to give him a 50-50 ball, it came up as an interception against Robert Woods. Appreciate you. I don't know why I was getting Xavier Woods. Robert Woods. Appreciate you. They you can utilize the frame. I know last time against the Rams ended up being an interception. I mean, hey, that was his first game. That was his first game. I think this is a situation or at least use him. I think in this situation, I think all the attention will be 12 gonna be out there. You put 12 out wide. You put 12 out wide over here. Yeah, you put 12 out wide over here. You put Hut somewhere, and then you put which on the other side. Like it's going to go. Actually, you could put Hutch and what you call running in the same spot and just have them running two opposite directions. I think Higgs is going to be by himself because again, Hutch has got three touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. Like Hutch has been the one who's been scoring touchdowns. And it's been looking explosive. Hutch has been the one that's been catching the football a lot, been utilized a lot, and obviously Nico was Nico Collins. And then you go out there, and I think you have a one-on-one with Higg. Higg will be by himself, throw the football and let him. It's in the corner, so it's either a touchdown or it's out or it's going back to the stands. That's what it would be. That's what they should do. That's what should have been done instead of trying to give the Brooks back-to-back plays. You got 3 6'4" receivers. Do that. Put Higg out there on the block and let him go up there and try to catch a rebound. Or use Noel in the red zone and Woody Marks. Use them in the red zone. We see Noel do it against Baltimore. We see Marks do it against Seattle. Use them in the red zone. Like that doesn't make it. I don't know what Nick Caley does. Nick Caley doesn't make any sense. I've said this time and time and time and time again. Time and time again. Nick Caley doesn't know what he's doing. Nick Caley doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing. I mean, I've seen somebody say, I mean, granted, I think if CJ plays this game, the Texans win this game by 10 points. The way the defense played, I think one, they wouldn't have got the 18. They would have had the 15, maybe 14, because maybe they don't even go for a 2-point. Maybe they don't go for a 2-point conversion. Maybe they don't go for a touchdown. So I think if CJ plays this game, if CJ plays the entirety of the game, I think the Texans win 24-14. Either 24-14 or 27-17. That's what I think happens. Or maybe 24-15. But they wouldn't have went for it. So yeah, that's what I think happens. I think the Texans win by 2. I think the Texans win by 2 scores. Probably, you know what, it probably have been that's probably what it would have been. It would probably because I think, did we have both our field goals when CJ got hurt? Was already 6-0. So it might have been 23. I just be on the Texas side. I say 23. I say 23-14. Is what the game would have been. Either way it goes, the Texans would still won by 2 possessions if CJ Stroud is the quarterback throughout the entirety of the game. I do think that the offense definitely they honestly took some hits. And again, the offense was moving the football a little bit more because they was able to throw the football to Nico. Nico was able to get a couple passes. It was one pass that I ain't gonna lie, that Davis Mills dropped right in the bucket to Nico Collins. That and you get one. Cause remember, I say I don't care how trash Trevor Lawrence is. In that Monday night game against Kansas City, it was one that he threw the BTJ when he dropped in the bucket. I call it spade a spade. I give credit where it's due. He threw it in the bucket and he dropped it right there in the bucket. So I give him credit on that. And again, I'll give credit to Davis Mills on that sideline throw that he threw the Nico Collins. It might have been his first completion. He dropped that right there in the bucket. He dropped that right in the bucket. So I give him credit on that. I give credit where credit's due. He went out there and dropped it right there in the bucket. They was able to like I say, he went out there, dropped it right in the bucket. They was able to score a touchdown. Well, not score a touchdown. I think we got a field goal on that drive. Like I said, I think that's when we got our second field goal of the game. And like again, hey, and hey, I know people ain't gonna hear this. Hey, shout out to Kyrie. Even though after missing that first field goal, I mean, Kyrie was able to kick the rest of the field goals and keep the Texans with the lead throughout the entirety of the game until the defense gave it up at the end. And I want to be angry at the defense a lot. I really do. I do because like they were up by 8 points with 8 points with a quarter to go. You know your quarterback is hurt. He's gone. He's not. CJ's not coming back in the game. This offensive struggle with CJ out there, let alone with you not having your quarterback. Man, you got to make play. You can't let these big plays happen. And that second touchdown to Harvey, and then specifically that Bo Nix 25-yard scamper, like those two plays specifically is like the defense. You got to be better in those situations, knowing what's going on offensively. Period. Like the defense, but then also why it's kind of also unfair to the defense because the defense is in a position where they have to be perfect. They have to be perfect. Like Stingley guys has to come up with that interception that he dropped. Like the defense has to be perfect, and there is an unfair ask for a unit. And I said before that eventually a mutiny is going to start between the offense and the defense. The defense is going to be looking at the offense side-eyed. They're going to be looking like they're gonna be looking at the offensive players side-eye. They're gonna be looking at Nick Caley side-eye with some of these personnel decisions, like because the defense is doing their job for the most part. Because the defense was basically shutting down the Denver Broncos offense today. It wasn't the way, like I said, it wasn't the way that they stymied San Francisco last week. But like the defense is doing all this. The defense did all that against Seattle, and they can't it's like they can't catch a break. Like yes, they gave up some big plays early on in the Seattle games, but after that first drive, after those first two drives, the defense tightened up, blocked field goals, turnovers, scoring touchdowns on their own accord, and offense can't do anything with it. Defense now this time the defense you had the lead, so it's a little bit different because defensively you had the lead, but the defense did stop them. And hey, you got the ball back with a little over a minute left, get in the field goal range, and let's go home. Let's go home. Let's squeak out this win. Now you're probably going to go an entire game. And who knows? It could be like a Bill O'Brien situation. As far as like we've seen Bill O'Brien like coach master classes. I know people don't want to give Bill O'Brien his credit, but we've seen Bill O'Brien coach master classes when he didn't have a quarterback. Like when his quarterback was gone, like when he had to go get Case Keenum out of a tree, out of a hunting tree, and got him ready to go in less than the week to beat the Ravens. That was the last time the Texans beat the Ravens until a couple weeks ago, or a month ago rather. Like performances like that. Just like some of the performances he had, like on short notice, like just getting the quarterback ready to go out there and go out there and get a win against sometimes a quality opponent, sometimes just a regular opponent, but going out there to get those type of wins. And who knows that maybe hey, we know that we're not gonna have our quarterback. We seen it with DeMeco Ryans against Tennessee his first year. We're not gonna have our quarterback. This is what we gotta do. This is what we gotta do. Whoop, whoop, and is able to get his team ready to go. So who knows that maybe this could be that type of situation where, hey, I get this. I get him ready to go. I get him. I get him ready to go. I get him ready to go. I get the defense ready to coach up and win, and we're gonna have to win this game on the defensive side of the football. We're gonna need to force Trevor Lawrence to turn the football over. We're gonna need to say, because you're not gonna be able to win the game next week the way you won it last week. You're not gonna be able to just stymie Jacksonville and just not let them get no yards and we win the game. Like, no, you're gonna have to get turnovers because you're gonna have to do something on the defensive side of the football to take points and possessions away from Jacksonville. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to sack the quarterback. You're gonna have to sack Trevor Lawrence. You're gonna have to force Trevor Lawrence to turn the football over. You're gonna have to do things of that nature, in my opinion, to walk away with a win. That's what you're gonna have to do if CJ doesn't play. And I don't really know if CJ is going to be able to play because people really don't come back a week after the concussion protocol. Like I said, most of the time they miss multiple games. Most of the time they miss multiple games. Like I said, I was surprised that Nico only missed last week. I was surprised that Nico played today. When it came out that Nico was playing, I think Friday, because I think he was a full go at practice. So it was like he was going to be playing. I was surprised. I was like, cool. He's playing. So cool. But because most people, I mean, but Tank missed 2 games. CJ himself missed 2 games. He missed the Tennessee game, and then he missed the Cleveland Brown game. So, but yeah, like yeah. I mean, like, do we trust Davis Mills to go out there and win the game against Jacksonville? No, I don't. And I know some people have already put in here the season's over. Hey, shout out Big B. I see what you put talking about. Jay Love go out there and get Jeremiah Love season over with. I mean, you're right about that. Like, if this is the thing about the concussion protocol, because we won't know that CJ passed the concussion protocol until after the trade deadline. I do think that if things are because I do think they can tell if things are trending, because I know, like, you gotta be like, if you're sensitive to light and things of that nature and stuff like that. If they can tell that he's that it look like there's a strong chance that he'll play, pull the trigger on a Brees Hall trade. Pull the trigger on the Brees Hall trade. Pull the trigger. That's the only one I think that it depends if CJ is playing, is the Brees Hall, because Wyatt, the guard, if you can make that trade happen, make that trade happen regardless. No matter if CJ's because no matter what happens the rest of the season, you're gonna having a guard for right now makes sense. If it's a, like, you know what I'm saying, like a Waddle or a Chris Olave, because I've seen these names float around. If it's those guys, again, I those are make those moves if we're still trying to compete for this season. But we can hold off on those. Anything offensively on the offensive line side of the football, anything with a guard or a center, make those moves regardless. Anything with a skilled person, a receiver, a running back, a special team player, if it looks like CJ is trending towards playing on Sunday, then go ahead and pull the trigger on that. If he's not, I actually do agree with keeping your assets, keeping your draft capital, and I do agree with keeping your assets, keeping your draft capital, and I do agree with that. Keeping your assets, keeping your draft capital, and don't pull the trigger on that, because I feel like you can, obviously, I think you can get a better running back anyway in the draft than Brees Hall. And I like Brees Hall a lot. I think of some other running backs in the draft. The kid out of Washington, I like him a lot too. You can get him later on the draft, but I do think you need to get a game changer. You need to get a bona fide running back. Somebody said something about Joe Mixon. Man, I keep on saying this about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, I highly doubt if we see Joe Mixon this season, especially now. I highly doubt that we see Joe Mixon anytime this season, and because of that, I don't think we see Joe Mixon as a Houston Texan again. I think it's be best served for the Texans that during off season to whatever the dead cap hit with. I don't even think it would be. Actually, I think you probably save money by cutting them. Go ahead and get cutting Joe Mixon and go out there and draft you a running back. If it's Jeremiah Love, if it's some of the other guys, in Jeremiah Love, you're going to spend a first round pick on. And I think that's what you need. Like, we need offensive talent. We need offensive talent. I know you see a lot of my drafts where people haven't. We're not drafting the tackle. We just drafted the tackle high last year. We paid Tyson out. We're not drafting the tackle, and I don't think unless the Texans make the playoffs, the Texans are not going to be drafting like in the 20s. The Texans are going to be drafting. I think the Texans are probably going to be drafting around like 15. I think the Texans are going to be drafting anywhere between 11 and honestly, like this is just what I think is going to happen. I don't really think the Texans are going to make the playoffs, but I think the Texans are going to draft anywhere between 11 and 19, somewhere in there. I think they end up around like really like around like 15, 14 to 15, but anywhere between 11 and 19, I feel like that's where the Texans are going to end up drafting. You're not going to draft. In that 19 range, really, but anything like 11 and 12, you really don't draft. You really don't see guards really go that high unless they just superb guards. So I don't see the Texans drafting a guard that high. So I think in that, and again, Jeremiah Love might be gone by then, so they might have to make a move up to go get Jeremiah Love. But I think that's what they need to do. They need to go out there. They need to get a bona fide running back, a game changer running back. They can turn around, hand the football off to, and also who can run block, and also you can throw the football too. Like, it's a lot of different things and a lot of different reasons why I think Jeremiah Love is a perfect fit for the Houston Texans. Tight end is good too. We definitely need tight end like that. That's why I think that we need guard, but I don't think you drafting a guard in the first round. Running back, tight end, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, receiver, because this is the thing about receiver, because maybe with a better offensive coordinator we can get more out of these receivers. But I think we're seeing the fruits of the Xavier Hutchinson, the fruits of the Xavier Hutchinson labor, but I don't know how that ultimately. I don't see nothing just being extraordinary. I think the person outside Nico Collins, obviously, that has the best splash playability is obviously Jalen Noel, and we haven't really got a chance to get to utilize Jalen Noel or see Jalen Noel because of who our offense coordinator is. Maybe with a better offense coordinator, we could see a better version of Jalen Noel. Maybe we could see a better version of Jalen O if we get a better offensive coordinator. We get a better offensive coordinator, we could see a better version of Jalen O. So who's to say we're gonna see with Jalen O? Uh, like I say, I look at Hig, bro. I look at Hig and I'm like, I said one target, one catch for 4 yards. Like I look at Hig. We do last week. Last week he was targeted 8 times for 34 yards. Like bro, I ain't gonna lie. I look at Higgins. I'm like okay. Like I don't really see a lot. And really with Higgins, it's not really about the scheme. I don't really think that I think Hig could be a decent possession receiver, but I think that's the ceiling. As about Tank, I've been saying this since before the season started, before the draft. I've been saying that I don't expect to see Tank Dell none this season. I know people were hyped and people, because I know, shout out to everybody in the Discord. I had this conversation in the Discord about 2 months ago, uh, about how like Tank Dell gonna come back for the playoffs, and Tank Dell gonna be ready before the playoffs, and Tank Dell gonna come back in December, and Tank Dell gonna be doing this, and there's gonna be all these different type of things about Tank Dell. And I'm like, I don't see him able to come back, and two, I don't want him to come back there early. Like, it wasn't just an ACL injury. If it was just a regular, simple ACL injury, that's different. ACL, MCL, LCL, dislocated knee. Not dislocated kneecap. Dislocated knee. Dislocated knee. ACL, MCL, LCL, and a dislocated knee. For a 5'8", 165-pound receiver whose best attribute is his lateral movement, his shiftiness, and his footwork. Able to run routes because he's elite at route running. That's how he gets open. Because he don't run a 4.2 or 4.3. He's not just blazing by people with top tier speed. He ran a 4.5. I think they ended up giving him a 4. I think they ended up giving him a 4.49. He ran 4.5. Okay. I think they end up officially giving him a 4.49. He ran 4.5. Like he ran 4.5. So it's not like he's out there he a burner out there just getting past people. No, he plants his foot in the ground. He does a little shit. He makes a little moves, and his route running is crispy. He's able to use his footwork, and he's able to get open, find the hole. He finds the holes in the zone. He's able to get open. He finds the holes in the zone. Able to get open. All those he's good with all those type of things. Torn ACL, torn LCL, torn MCL, dislocated knee. And y'all want him to come back a year after that. Not to mention, within the same calendar year, in 12 months, which is a calendar year, in 12 months, because some people, it ain't happened in the same year. No, in the same calendar year. So within a 12-month span, he broke his leg, got shot in the leg, and then torn all these different elements. We still don't know what leg he got shot in. So I don't even know if it's the same leg or not. So it's either the same leg he broke or it's the same leg. I don't even know what leg it was. But he got shot in the leg. He broke his leg. And then tore his ACL, MCL, LCL, and dislocated his knee. And wow, by Patrick Mahomes and Hollywood Brown. I just seen that play. That's crazy. Anyway, this is the conversation for another day. All that. And y'all expect this person to come back. And not only come back to play at a high level, to play like he played his rookie year. We didn't even see rookie year take last year. We didn't even see rookie like that's the thing about it. Like people like that was another thing about that conversation that was another thing about that conversation to me that didn't make any damn sense. That was another thing about that conversation to me that didn't make any damn sense. And if y'all was in Discord, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Because either you was part of the conversation, you wasn't. It's cool. But about that conversation that didn't make no damn sense is that Tank Dell, after breaking his after Tank Dell broke his leg against Denver and then got shot in the leg and came back last season, he didn't look the same then. After a broken leg, not torn leg, after a broken leg, Tank Dell didn't look the same. He just started looking the same until the game that he got hurt, until that Kansas City game. That's when that Kansas City game was the game he actually looked like Tank Dell before he tore everything. That was the first time all season last year. That was the first time that Tank Dell actually looked like Tank Dell was in that game. That was the first time the entire season that he actually looked like Tank Dell. Don't give me that. Oh, Bobby Slow was offensive coordinator. That's Bobby. I believe Bobby was offensive coordinator. Bobby was his offensive coordinator his rookie year when he was balling. Like people forget that. Like people always say about Bobby, and again, I don't think Bobby was a good offensive coordinator either. However, like I don't want to use that Bobby. Well, Bobby was offensive coordinator last year. That's why he looked so trash. Bobby was offensive coordinator when he looked good his rookie year. Bobby was offensive coordinator when CJ1 rookie year. Like he was still the offensive coordinator. like nothing changed. Like you gotta take into consideration that those injuries, that those incidents Those things were factors of why Tank Dell. Now, also, I think Bobby definitely was a factor as well. I'm not absolving Bobby and saying Bobby wasn't. But all those things were factors of why Tank Dell looked the way he looked in majority of the season last year. It was. So I don't expect, if Tank Dell was able to come back this season, I don't expect Tank Dell to look like rookie year Tank Dell. I think it's going to be a while. So I always said this since the off season because I was the one that was saying the Texans need to trade for Garrett Wilson. I was the one that said the Texans need to trade for Chris Olave. I was the one that said the Texans need to what's it, AJ Brown? Maybe the Texans need to trade for T. Higgins. I was the one saying the Texans need to trade for a receiver during the offseason. I was the one that said the Texans need to draft a receiver, Emeka Ibuka, specifically. Even though my favorite receiver was Burton, but hey, you go out there and get Emeka Ibuka, I was cool with that as well. In the first round, I was the one to say that last year. That's why I was want to say that all season. That's what I'm saying. Because of I didn't think that we would see Nathaniel Tank Dell this season 2025. I don't expect Tank Dell, number 3, Nathaniel Tank Dell. I don't expect him to play this season. Preseason, regular season, postseason, special season. I don't expect him to play for the Houston Texans at any juncture of this season. No, he should. Because I think he needs to take the complete year off because it won't be a year. And that's nothing too. It won't be a full year until the second to last week of the NFL season. The third to last week of the NFL season. Because then he got hurt 5 days before Christmas. So it won't even be a year until then. And the way this Texas team looking, they ain't going to be playing for nothing. So why put them out there? Let them rest. And let him get a full off season under his belt to get back into shape before he gets up on this football field. And the thing is, still don't know exactly how much you're going to get from him after all of that, especially early on. So you need to make provisions and go out there and get receiving talent. And I also seen somebody put out there too, the receiver of Ohio State. You talking about Cornell Tate? In my personal opinion, that's who I want the Texans to draft in the first round. I like Jeremiah Love. The thing is, the Texans have a first round pick, 2 second round picks, a third round pick, 2 fourth round picks. They have, to me, in my opinion, they have all the draft capital to draft 2 players in the first round. You're going to have your original first round pick, and then you have 2 seconds, a third, and 2 fours. Jump back into the back half of that first round. Because I actually think Tate, I think Tate might slip into the 20s. I think Tate might slip into the 20s. So I think with those first 2 picks, you go get Jeremiah Love, you get Cornell Tate. I know somebody saying drafting guard and center. I would get a offensive lineman in the offseason via free agency, via trades. Because you look at what Chicago's done. You look at what Chicago's done. You look what Carolina's done. You look at all these teams that fix their offensive line problems and their issues and short them up by getting veteran NFL offense. We don't need no more rookie offensive linemen. We don't. Especially under Nick Caserio as a general manager. We do not need any more rookie offensive linemen. None. That's why this whole Nick Kelly thing always just mind-boggles me. This ship and train is ready to go. We don't need no newbies. We don't need no rookies. We don't need nobody like that. We need experience because they are ready to go. And we are ready to take off to compete for AFC Championship and beyond. Super Bowl appearance, Super Bowl championship. You can't keep doing that with getting people who ain't never called no plays before. You can't keep doing that by going out there and just getting some offensive linemen in the first and second round and just hoping they're going to go. No. We need veteran offensive linemen. You can get young skill players. Actually, especially running back, it actually benefits you to get a rookie or a second year running back. It benefits you to get youth in the running back position. It benefits you to get youth in this. It benefits you to get youth in the skill position receiver, a skill position position. Look at what's going on with Tampa Bay. Look what went on with Detroit. They got Jameer Gibbs. Detroit been taking off. They got Jameer Gibbs. They've been taking off. The year they got Jameer Gibbs, they went to the NFC Championship game. Emeka Buka ran all over everybody. Like these guys, you don't wait on them. This special talent, you don't have to wait on them. They ready to go right here and now. Go out there, you get Tate, you get Love. You get offensive lineman in the off season, and you get a damn good offensive coordinator with experience. I keep on saying Mike McCarthy. That's what you go out there and get. He's gonna get this offense. You go out there, you get Mike McCarthy. You let Mike McCarthy pick just like the Texans did with Wade Phillips and Gary Kubiak and Wade Phillips. You let him get the ingredients to cook. For his defense, for his offense, you gave Wade the pass and gave him the ingredients. Let him go and shop for the ingredients for his defense. He gets you J.J. Watt. He gets you Brooks Reed. All season, you go out, you get Jonathan Joseph, you get Daniel Manning. He takes Glover Quinn. He moves Glover Quinn to safety. You do all these things. You move Mario to outside linebacker. You do all these different type of things. You do all these different type of things. The defense, you do all these different type of things. This defense was ready to go. The Texans defense went from the worst defense in the NFL in 2010 to the number 2 defense in 2011. Texans win their first ever division title, first ever playoff appearance, and win the playoff game. And probably to this day, the most competitive they've ever been in the divisional round with a third string backup rookie quarterback in TJ Yates. Because that was still the Texans' best team. I don't care what nobody say. I told somebody that 2 years ago during CJ's rookie year that the 2011 team was the Texans' best team of all time. This person told me no, that the 2023 Houston Texans with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud was the best team ever. Even though that the 2011 team had Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, and J.J. Watt, Daniel Manning, Jonathan Joseph, Brooks Reed, Connor Baldwin, Brian Cushing was on that team. Dwayne Brown, Wade Smith, Eric Winston, Chris Myers, all those things, but yet still that the 2020, I know because he's probably saying that CJ is better than Matt Schaub. Not in 2000, not this juncture, but I digress. 2011 is still the best team. So anyway, but I say all that to, I went off on a rant and a tangent. I apologize. I'm sorry. I say all that to say, go get Mike McCarthy and let Mike McCarthy do what Wade Phillips did in that 2011 offseason. You give him the keys to go grocery shopping. You give him the keys and the debit card. He go grocery shopping, and he gets the offensive lineman that he needs for his offense. He gets the tight ends and things that he needs for his offense. And then you go in the draft, you get a running back and a receiver for his offense. And you allow him to run the offense that he wants to run. I don't care. It's a boring offense. The offense kind of outdated. It's so man, we can't do the simple things correctly. We can't. We can't do simple things correctly. We get to the red zone, we can't do anything. We don't need to be trying to learn calculus If you can't do simple add and subtracting, let's get back to basics. Let's strip it down. Let's get down. Let's get down to the knuckles. Let's get down to the bare knuckles. That's what we gotta do. We gotta get down to bare knuckles. Strip it down. Get down to the bare knuckles, and let's build this thing from the ground up. Let's build this thing from the ground up. I see somebody say about Nick Casario. Yeah, that's the reason why I think Nick Casario needs to go. I think that Nick Casario needs to go. Nick Casario needs to go, and Calvin there needs to call up Will McClay from Dallas. He's the player personnel. He's not the general manager because we all know Jerry Jones is the general manager. I know Jerry Jones doesn't want to let him go, but Jerry Jones doesn't have any control because Jerry Jones does not give him the general manager title. So therefore, he can take a job. The Jerry Jones cannot block it. So you go up there, you call, you make that call, and you put the pressure and make Jerry Jones make a decision like, hey, I'm gonna have to give this dude the general manager title. And also spare no expense. I'm pretty sure Will McClay is probably getting paid general manager type money. Hey, it costs to be the damn boss. You gotta cut that check, Cal. Like you gotta go out there, you gotta cut that. It needs to be offer him an exorbitant amount of money. Something an offer he can't refuse, and force Jerry Jones to give him the general manager title, so therefore he can block it. Or else, you give him all the money in the world. You make him the highest paid general manager, not even close. I feel like you need to cut that type of check. Because one thing we know about Dallas, it ain't their talent. Dallas got talent everywhere. And the thing is, if they are short on talent, it's on the defense side of football. You got to worry about that because D'Amico got that. It's the offensive side of the football is where you need help offensively, specifically that offensive line. And also the skill position as well. Yeah, that's what you need to make some moves at. I feel like you do some of these things right here, we'll see a different Houston Texans. But, I mean, this game, let's say, because we talked about pretty much almost everything but this game. What this game means is the Texans, like, playoff chances are basically non-existent. Like I've been saying the next week was a must-win game, was the most important game of the season. They lose that game, it's a wrap. It's over. That's the only shot. And the thing is, you're gonna go into this game more than likely without CJ. So therefore, you're probably not gonna have any more games. So, man, appreciate everybody that came through here, man. If you ain't hit the like button already, man, make sure you hit the like button. I'm gonna give you some time. If you ain't hit the like button already, man, I'm gonna give you some time. Hit the like button right now. I'm gonna give you some time. Hit the like button right now. Like I said, man, appreciate everybody that came through here, man. If you ain't hit the like button already, man, make sure you hit the like button already, man. Hit that like button. I'm gonna give you some time. Hit the like button. Already, man. Appreciate everybody that came through here, man. Appreciate everybody hit the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat love. Y'all know how much that means to me every time you hit the super chat love, man. Definitely appreciate that. Texas fall to the Denver Broncos, 18-15. Wasn't able to get into the end zone. The biggest takeaway from the game, obviously, CJ Stroud, concussion protocol. We need to see what's going to happen with him. The Texans have really just one more shot. And the Texans lose this game against Jacksonville, the season's over. It's look at mock drafts, look at my drafts, potential free agents, whatever. The trade deadline is on Tuesday, and Should the Texans make a move? If the Texans would have won this game, even with CJ injury, Texas would have won this game. It's 4-4, 9 games left to go in the season. You're at 500. You still got some division opponents around you, so you can still get your way back up in there. Obviously, no brainer. Make some trades. CJ, you lose the game. Probably don't need to make no trades. And then CJ gets hurt, and more than likely not playing in the next game because it's a concussion. It's not, oh, he left the game with anything else. He left the game with a concussion. So it's more than likely he's not going to play because just the way the NFL is when it comes to concussions. It's really like less than 10% chance. It's like a less than 10% chance that you should make a move. Like I don't. I wanted them to make a move. I don't think they should make a move. I think that they should stick with the picks they have, uh, and really, don't give up on the season just yet. As far as, but like it's based off of next week because next week you lose against Jacksonville, then don't even worry about the playoffs. Like as a fan base, as or organization. I know as the players, yes. Like players, no matter what your record is, the players and the coaches, you always want to go out there and you want to win, put your best foot forward, all the different type of things. As an organization, Cal, Nick, don't make the playoffs. You don't want to make the playoffs. You want to put yourself in a better position. You actually do want to put yourself in a better position to we need to be thinking about 4 or 5 years from now, not just next week. Uh, I mean, that's why with Titus, Honcho, Titus left the game with concussion. Um, but to be honest, like offensive linemen, well, linemen in general, they don't really like they in the trenches and it's physical in the trenches, but they're not really like using their heads a lot. Like because a lot of these concussions come from either getting hit with their head and then hitting the ground and the force bouncing off the head. Like these offensive linemen and defensive linemen, even when they do like fall on the ground, they don't really just fall on the ground on their back. They fall on the ground. They hitting leg first, knee leg first, knee first. Like they falling falling on they like sitting down. Like they not getting like hit clean cocked lifted off their feet head because that's what happened to CJ. Because CJ didn't get hit in the head. CJ his head bounced off the ground. That's why, like with like running backs and quarterbacks and receivers, like running backs and quarterbacks, it's more so them getting hit on the ground and bouncing off. Receivers is more so them getting hit in the head when they're trying to catch and boom, boom, get hit in the head. Same thing with linebackers and corners. It's them using their head to hit. So offense and defensive linemen, they're not like, even though they are like more physical contact more than anybody else, the is less likely. Not to say that they don't. I'm pretty sure offensive linemen, defensive linemen have definitely left games. I mean, we just seen Titus lead today with a concussion. I'm pretty sure it happens. It happens, but obviously it's not the same as a skill position. Skill positions, it happens a little bit more, and also they more worried about specifically quarterback. That's who they're mostly worried about because quarterbacks are their money makers, not just for the organization but for the league. Like the league needs quarterbacks. I think that was part of the problem in that Seattle game. If CJ would have been looking like if the Texans would have winning record and CJ this season would have been looking like CJ looked his rookie year, that game would have got more buzz and more hype because of the superstar status. I mean, look at the game right now about Buffalo and Kansas City. Like it's they're marketing Patrick Mahomes and they're marketing Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Like that's what they need to market and thrive upon as the quarterback position. So that the quarterbacks are the league's moneymaker. Oh, you say, that's you say that. I don't even know the. I get what you're saying now. Bro, I don't even know the play. Like, I don't even know like the play that happened. He just Ty Howard was just. I'm like, what happened to Ty? Like, okay, Ty Howard. I'm just thinking it was something a bit like concussion. Like what happened? Like, I don't even know what happens. I'll have to go back and look at the play. Look at like go back and look through the film and look through the play and see if I can see like his head bouncing off the ground. Like, see if that was a situation that he get hit in the head as far as like a linebacker or DN like using their head, like leaning with the head and hitting them with the head. Like, what was the actual cause of it? Like, yeah, but you're right about that. Like, it is rare. It barely happens. It's weird when it does happen. Like, and it's more so like we just don't really pretty much notice it. Yeah, random injury. It is, bro. It is, man. It is. But it's the Texans. It makes a lot of sense. It's the Texans. The 2025 Texans, to be more specific, but it's the Texans nonetheless. So it makes a lot of sense, honestly. Uh, Man, appreciate it. Like I said, everybody that came through here, definitely appreciate that, man. Hey, we are going to go live again on Friday. Friday. We're gonna preview the Jacksonville Jaguar game. We're gonna break it down. So make sure y'all pull up immediately and on Friday. We're gonna pull up, we're gonna break down exactly the preview. Has CJ cleared the concussion protocol? What's gonna happen? Did the Texans make any trades? We're gonna talk about all that on Friday. And then also next week after the game, we're gonna go live after the game. But I will I'm supposed to be at the game. So I'm supposed to be at the game. So the live may not be directly after the game. If I end up going to the game, it might not be directly after the game. But you're going to get your post game, good, bad, and indifferent. So make sure. So I will give more details on Friday because I'll know more details by Friday. So Friday I will give more details exactly if it's going to be immediately after the game. Cause I could be like, no, I'm not going to go to the game, or I still end up be going to the game. Like, okay, it's going to be maybe 30 minutes after the game instead of directly after the game, or maybe an hour after the game instead of directly after the game. So be on the lookout. I will give y'all more details exactly. I'll give y'all more details on Friday exactly how the game situation will end up being tomorrow. I mean, a game in the situation being next week. But you will get a live on Friday, and you will get a live post game. Just you'll have to pay. I'll let y'all know on Friday if it's going to be directly after the game or whatever. Man, like I said, man, appreciate everybody that came through. Hit the like button. Definitely appreciate that. Everybody hit the super chat love. Definitely appreciate that as well. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't. Click that bell, get more videos. Holla.